Hello everyone, so a really quick crash course of using programs since it's already 10:30 and I have an essay due tomorrow morning. But anyhow, at the moment, your VEX code should look something like this, with functions at the very top, such as void lift, void lower, intake, all those self-made functions, and then you should be able to see your initiated pre-autonomous commands, such as setting the velocity, setting the brake type, the torque, etc. And finally, you should be able to have your drive under your while true function, and that's all for your current program. But for the actual competition itself, you'll actually have to use something called the VEX competition template. So if you go up to the file part, click into open examples, you'll be able to see something called the competition template with no devices configured. So for example, let's just start a new project. I'll call it my project 3. So going in, you'll instantly notice it's set up with a section for pre-autonomous, autonomous, and user control. Now this is so important because in the actual competition, you'll have something called a competition switch, which sends out a command for your program to recognize which part is autonomous and which part is user control. If you're in a normal program, it won't be able to recognize this and you won't be able to separate the two separate functions. So with that being said, however, we won't just move our code to this template because as you noticed, there are no devices configured and we don't really want to go through every single device again. Therefore, if I just take this part and then copy all the way down to here, hit Control C and go over back to video tutorial, and let's say enter it right there. Okay, so it's obviously a bit of a mess now, but we'll organize it really quickly. So at the very top, let's just make a section for all our void commands. So we'll call this, for example, user-defined functions. Okay, so under this section, we want to put all our void commands that we previously had in our main code. So for example, all the lift, the lower, let me just select all of them, all the way to the intake. Yep, there we go. So I'll just Control X, cut that, and put that under user-defined functions. There we go. Next, we have pre-autonomous functions, and what that means is actions before the competition starts. So that's setting all of the initiated functions, the initialized robot configuration. So that would be all your settings for your motor. So in this case, everything under here. And there we go. So that's your pre-auton section. And then next, your autonomous task. So I'm currently still trying to fix the autonomous because I found out there's a new rule that your cube has to touch the robot before starting. But I'll send out a new autonomous code onto Google Classroom. For now, we'll just use this one I have right here, which makes the robot go backwards by 100 degrees. So we'll just insert it right there. Yep. There we go. So now we've got, at the very top, all our user-defined functions, all our pre-autonomous configuration functions, and our autonomous task, and finally our user control task. So this is where we should take our drive code over here and dump it right in here. And yep, that's perfect. And you can read through all of these explanations in the template, which tell you what exactly each part is and what you should put in there. But at the moment, just know that this is where you should be putting your drive code. So now in the int main, this is what will actually run. So you notice this is the callback for autonomous. So when the competition switch is flipped to autonomous and you're running your program on your controller, automatically the autonomous part will run, this task. And then when the competition switch is switched to driver control, your user control starts to run. So that's why you can't just use your normal program because it won't be able to recognize these callbacks from the competition switch. And then all of the stuff is already in here from the competition template, so you don't need to make any changes for int main. Now for all this junk at the very bottom, since we've already included it, you can just hit that delete button and make sure you get the extraneous bracket out of the way. And that is how you transfer all of your code with all your devices still configured into the competition template, and now it is perfectly ready for use.